Hello everyone, it's Sunday, 11:29 p.m. Just want to take a break, studying some defamation, and just wanted to share some information with you guys really quick. Look, I get a lot of people always asking me, like, what's the difference, Tony? What's the difference between being a lawyer and being an attorney? It's very simple. Look, an attorney is someone that's going to advocate for you in the court of law. You know, he's going to have a license, she's going to have a license, and she's your advocate. She's an abogado. That's where attorney comes from, advocate. So a lawyer, on the other hand, is someone who is totally different. That person is immersed in the law, once curious about its origins, its development, where it's going in the future. That person can become a professor, academic, consultant, and if they want to take a license, to practice, and most of the time, they will. But that's, I'll leave that for the younger generation. Someone of my age, I studied the law because I want to basically develop my sense of citizenry and my love of all things pure. And I think the law is one of the purest forms of knowledge that you can find if you really get into it and understand it. So in terms of defamation, for example, if you're just basically doing it because you want to be an attorney or whatever, and you're preparing yourself to take the bar exam, look, it doesn't matter if you get an A in law school or if you get a C or a D, you're an attorney. That's it. You passed the license exam, now you're ready to advocate for someone. So in terms of defamation, all you're going to need to know is, the difference between slander and libel and what the rules of law are and apply them accordingly. When it comes to just basically, or not just, but when it comes to actually learning what defamation is, it's such an exciting field. Just knowing the law itself, and just so much, to get out of it. But you have to read the case books. You can't not really become a successful lawyer, understand the law, appreciate the law if you don't read the case books. And once you read the case books, you're going to have so many subjects, so many sections within the subjects. When it comes to defamation, it's just going to be overwhelming. But it's going to benefit you in the long term because you'll be able to now think about it and contribute, to it, for future development and applications as it becomes related to the law. So you're going to have things like the nature of defamatory communications, the basis of liability. You're going to have things of importance such as publication, difference between a professional or a public elected official versus a private citizen. You're gonna have so much to learn, so much to absorb in just the defamation aspect of criminal law that you're gonna be like, wow. I didn't think it was gonna be that intense. You're gonna even talk about the First Amendment. And then also the Ninth and 10th Amendments. See, that's all applicable stuff. And there are great case studies like New York Times versus Sullivan, which is very famous. But that's going to be challenged too, maybe in the future, because the basis here is just that let's say a public official is going to be set to a higher standard because they're in the public eye all the time. But the real sense of the matter is that a public official is different than a private citizen because they have access. They have access to be to information, and they have better access in protecting themselves. But that's not going to be the case if you read into it and then you start to ask yourself, well, what about now in the 21st century when we have things like Twitter? We have social media platforms that allow us to now even the playing field when it comes to access of communication. When it comes to access of communication, so things are going to change, and that's a funny thing. It's not really funny actually. It's really a good thing, because the law is always going to be development, and it's going to be people and thinkers like myself, or people who are immersed in the law, not just to practice it, but to really study it and contribute to the American Law Institute and with their opinions. Look, doctors do it all the time. They publicize their findings in medical journals, and lawyers do the same thing as well. Once you become an attorney, you get one chance in law school to really learn the law, and that's through you have to immerse yourself in the case case law books. You have to really get into it, and a lot of the writing in there is, you know, what they call, when I was going to NYU studying urban planning, a lot of the writing is fluff, what we call it in the law is dictum, and it's just so hard to get through, you know. But you know, the more and more you read into it, the easier it gets, and you'll be able to just wipe off the nonsense and get to the important stuff. So, what I'm saying, so again, if you immerse yourself, like in the subject matter regarding defamation, you're gonna then ultimately ask yourself, well, you know, is it going to change in the future? I think so, because technology just makes it possible for citizens of all sectors, whether you're a public official or not, to gain the same type of access and opportunity to protect yourself from false information. Because the First Amendment, it's going to let it go. It's just First Amendment freedom of speech, whether it's right or wrong. You know, if it's wrong and you had no intent or malice or reckless behavior to publicize something that's wrong, the burden is going to be on the other side. You know, so it's just very, very interesting stuff that I get out of reading the case law books that I would not get if I just prepared myself for the bar exam as it relates to defamation. All right, that's all I have to say for today. I just want to share that. Now I'm going to get back to my studies. Bye.